Hello, my name is Cheryl, and I am experimenting with trying to podcast because I enjoy watching YouTube and a lot of crafty knitting crochet podcasts. Recently, I've also been very much enjoying some booktube as well. And I like to connect with the community, so I've been thinking about it and I just thought I'd try it out and see what happens. So this is not a polished podcast, and I'm pretty sure if I continue it's not going to become a very polished, highly edited, beautifully shot podcast. That's kind of just not what I'm interested in doing. And so this is what you get is what you get, and I'm gonna try and keep it real. I am wearing a tiny bit of makeup, which I don't always do, especially a little bit of lip color. I really almost never ever do, but because it's a video and it's kind of like going out and meeting new people and being social and doing something, I thought I'd make a little effort. So I learned to knit and crochet when I was in the early double digits, maybe 11-ish, from my grandmothers. One was a really great knitter and the other was a wonderful crocheter. And at the time, knitting was what I stuck with more. It just seemed to make more sense to me, and I liked what I could do better, because at the time most of the patterns I found in the little pamphlets or things, a lot of Afghans, and my grandma liked to do doilies and lace tablecloths, which are gorgeous, but not what I wanted to do when I was like 11 years old. Was not appealing to my childhood self. So knitting I stuck with more, but I didn't do it constantly, and it came in and out of my life at different times. I kind of always came back to it now and again, but I wasn't terribly consistent about it. And then, I'd say about 10 years ago, I became much more of a really regular and kind of constant knitter. Just always wanted to keep some kind of project going, and never really looked back. And then when I joined Ravelry in 2012, the beginning of 2012, all bets were off. I was off to the races and began learning and exploring so many new things in crafting with yarn. And I also, about a year after I joined Ravelry, decided I needed to learn how to crochet again, because I'd pretty much forgotten anything that I had learned. So I looked up some videos and practiced some stitches and did a few projects and started dipping my toe into crochet again, and I still do crochet. Not a ton, but I try and keep it up, so I definitely don't want to ever forget again. And I have a blanket, the granny square blanket that so many people have, with all my sock yarn leftovers, because I am a sock knitter, y'all. I really am, and I'm not sorry. You don't have to be a sock knitter. You can knit whatever you want, and that's great. But I am a sock knitter, as well as a lot of other things, because I don't like to stick with just one kind of project. I need a little variety, and I like to knit garments. I love knitting sweaters. I love knitting shawls too, and wearing shawls, and I like to keep a mix. So let me show you, since we're talking about projects now, let's show you my two current projects I am working on. A pair of socks with some opal self-striping yarn, and I really, these colors, especially the bright green, is just making me so happy. I love a bright green. It's just like one of the happiest colors. And mismatching heels. I had scraps, and I think it's fun when they don't quite match, and that just struck my fancy. So I might even do 2 different colors for the toes, just because I think that's funny. And my other current project that I started last night is going to be a summer top with some lace. This is the front, this is the back actually. I'm gonna do it in 2 pieces and seam the sides with mattress stitch. Just because with, this is hempathy, which is cotton and hemp, and so tends to stretch and grow a lot, so having some seam on the sides will help control that a little bit. And I don't mind mattress stitching too much, as long as it's not like a billion, like 5 seams, like all around the sleeves and all around the, if it's just 2 side seams, I can deal with that much seaming. So it's probably going to be cropped because I am a big girl and I don't have a ton of this color, and I wanted this to be a little bit slightly boxy, slightly roomy, not extremely so, but I did not want it fitted. So to get that kind of roomy fit, it's gonna be short, but with the lace I plan on wearing a tank or a cami under it anyway. It's the layering piece, so that's fine. And I also like to read, although I don't read as much as I wish I did, because knitting, it's real, it's true. I have a hard time doing both unless it's an audiobook, which I have been doing recently. I'm listening to an audiobook now called The Inspection. It's kind of a little bit not sci-fi, but it's about kind of a social experiment, and I don't want to say too much, but it's educating young boys and young girls separately, and not telling them about each other, or that there are even 2 genders, and how people come into the world, and sex, they just feel that it's a distraction, and they want these children to be geniuses, and they figure the best way to raise young geniuses to be brilliant engineers and scientists and leaders is to not distract them with those kind of issues. And obviously things are starting to fall apart, and it's not going very well. And things are being revealed, and anyway, it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. I kind of wish some of the characters were a little more, I wish some things were a little less one-dimensional. I feel he's simplifying some things just for the sake of his arguments that he's trying to make. But still, it's interesting, and the plot is like, ooh, you know, what's going to happen to these kids, and how is this all going to end, and what are the consequences going to be, and so yeah, I'm enjoying it. The author of The Inspection is Josh Mallerman. I'm listening to it on Audible. The next book that I want to read, the next fiction book that I want to read, is this right here. I got it from the library. The Black Hills by Dan Simmons. And I have read Dan Simmons' Endymion. Is that how I pronounce it? Anyway, it's a big sci-fi series. I think there's 5. I read them, years ago. Less than 10 years ago. And enjoyed his writing a lot. His detail, his characterizations, enjoyed those books quite a bit. So I'm really looking forward to The Black Hills, to read another Dan Simmons and see. This is not a science fiction story. I think it's a little bit supernatural, and it's in a historical setting. So really interested to see what he does with that. Other things about me. I love coffee, and my Ravelry handle is Cappuccino 136. That's also my Instagram, Cappuccino 136. And you gotta start the day with some espresso, a latte. I make a latte at home. And recently my mom and I live with my parents. I help take care of them. Because they both need support. They've got health issues, and so we all live together. And this year my mom and I have started in the afternoon enjoying tea together, and we call it tea time. And we're drinking some loose leaf tea. I got a little pot with an infuser, and we've been getting some loose leaf teas. I like Tea Source. That's where I've been buying mostly, and am enjoying their teas. It's teasource.com. And I do watch plenty of TV too. Trying not to watch too much news, but I can't help it because it's a train wreck. And I'm also have a lot of concern and anxiety about the state of the United States and what's going on in our national politics and also the world politics. The United States is not the only country looking at internal political divisions and struggling with political problems. So, yeah. I also like to watch sci-fi and fantasy shows. I like to watch just silly reality TV that is really just a break and easy to knit to, because I don't really have to pay much attention. Like cooking competitions, fashion competitions like Project Runway. I really have been enjoying RuPaul's Drag Race in the competition format, and find that those drag queens are amazing entertainers, and it's just really, really fun and a lot of laughs, and I need to laugh. I think we all need to laugh to get through real life, because real life, it can be really tough, and we need to find those things that can help us laugh and lift our spirits. And also, that's what knitting does for me. It's calming, it's meditative. I mentioned the word anxiety. I do struggle with anxiety, and I also get depressed. And so knitting helps a whole lot emotionally. And it's a big part of my self-care. And I think self-care is important for all of us. And when you find those things that help you and work for you, that's great, and that's what you need, and keep on with it. So I've been talking for a while, and I guess this is just kind of a little introduction to me, and nice to meet all of you. I mean, I've been watching quite a few of your crafting podcast people out there, so but it's nice to kind of dip my toe in and say hi, and I hope that anybody that watches this, I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that you are crafting what you want to craft, and do it the way you like it, and don't let other people tell you how you should craft. You are the boss of your crafting. And thank you, Elizabeth Zimmerman, for putting that into words, that you are the boss of your own knitting. And it's true. And it applies to other things in life too. But especially with things like knitting and crafting, that, you know, it's not like it's your boss and he's telling you meet this quota, or this is how our company does it this way, and no, it's you're doing it for you. It's yours. Do knit with what you want, knit what you want, do it the way you want it, and make yourself happy with your crafting. And I also just want to say this now. I wish I'd said this in the beginning, and I know it's at the end, and you know, people might not even be watching anymore, but also this year in our crafting community, it's been a big turning point and a big awakening to a lot of things, as far as racism, white supremacy, diversity, and also diversity in a lot of ways, not just racial diversity, but size diversity, diversity in so many ways. Gender and sexuality diversity, and also knitting it from different socioeconomic resources. You know, we are not all from the same class of society, and we don't all have the same resources available, but we do what, you know, and also we've been talking about making things more accessible for a more variety of financial backgrounds and people with different financial resources, so that it's not exclusive to people who have a lot of money to spend, but it's open to anybody who is interested and who needs some creativity and some yarn crafting in their life. Anyway, that's my spiel about that. I want my videos, in as many as I make, I don't even know how many I'm ever going to make, but I want my YouTube channel, whatever it is, and I want any video that I make to be welcoming and safe for all people of any background, from any country, from any point of view. You are welcome, and I want to support diversity and openness and welcoming in our crafting community. I think that's so important, and I'm so happy we've been having these conversations. Really happy we've been having those conversations, and I've learned a lot. I think we're all still learning a lot. There's so much out there to learn, and so many different kinds of people, and people craft in so many different ways and for so many different reasons, and make so many different things, and I love it. I love that about creative endeavors, and I love that about crafting. I think it's wonderful, and I hope that our community grows and evolves to be a stronger, more welcoming, more open, and more easily accessible community to all people. So thank you for watching, and take care. All right, bye-bye.